War in the streets, a difficult thing to watch. A state of emergency in Egypt. Violence is spreading from Cairo to other Egyptian cities as well after security forces moved into Cairo sit-ins, two of them demanding that ousted President Morsi be reinstated. Some analysts say it is a final push by the military to complete its takeover of the country. At least 278 people have been killed in the violence, and by the way, that's a number that has been moving all afternoon. Police stations, government buildings, and Christian churches also under attack. NBC reporter Richard Engel was in the middle of the violence in Cairo, and he filed this afternoon.
Egyptian security forces here are clearly using live ammunition. They are firing into the side streets. There are frontline positions between protesters and security forces all over Cairo, and this one looks like it is about to get very ugly.
Dingle in the thick of it, as he always is. You can hear all the gunfire and all the chaos in the background. Still a very chaotic and unsettled scene. And joining me now is our Middle East expert, Dr. Shaul Gabay. Thank you so much for coming. I know you just got back from Israel on Sunday.
Sunday, right?
And you say that entire part of the world, when this is happening in Egypt, that entire part of the world becomes very unsettled.
There's no question about it. Egypt is our most important ally in the Arab world. Of course, we have Israel, but in the Arab world, it's Egypt. Mubarak was the most important ally that we had there. Everything that is happening in Egypt, which is the strongest, the largest in terms of the population as well, is affecting everything in the Middle East, which is already in turmoil. What's happening in Syria, what's happening in Jordan, what's happening in Libya. So that's why the ramifications of what happens in Egypt has not just importance and significance for those who are living there, but also obviously around the world, including for us.
We've talked before that very often in Egypt it's simply a matter of bread and gasoline. Unemployment very high there as well among their young people, which is now, I think, isn't that the largest piece of their...
Right, the majority of the population is under 25. When you travel there, you see that the majority is young. Even what we're seeing here in those video clips is you see young people who are involved, and they are actually worried about their daily life. The majority lives on less than $2 a day, and that's in a discrepancy with the other part of the society, which is actually economically doing very well. This is very, very important to us, and obviously very important to Egyptians on the streets.
We look at these pictures of, this is probably the square where the military moved in this morning. Is this the end game for the military? Is this where they solidify their grip on the country?
Yeah, we remember that we had a relatively peaceful second revolution. Now we are moving into what we are witnessing now is basically a battleground. The question is to what extent the military will be able to sustain its legitimacy, and that depends to what extent there are going to be casualties and to what extent the military is will enable a civilian government. It looks like if you look at the appointments of mayors, appointments of other civil servants who are coming from the military, they are falling in love with these positions. So the question will be to what extent the military will be able to continue. And now we have the emergency situation, which is Mubarak worked under. People could be arrested, could be kept for even months without trial. So basically Egypt is going back in terms of the regime to the norms of Mubarak, and actually the military is Mubarak in many ways. And at the same time, we will have to see how the population is willing to accept that vis-a-vis the Muslim Brotherhood. But the Muslim Brotherhood as a political Muslim movement is going back now from being in the government, being the government, into going back to the underground. And that's basically what is happening to the Muslim Brotherhood today.
Open warfare in the streets, running gun battles. Do many more die before this is over, or do they finally get a grip on that kind of violence?
The Muslim Brotherhood, which tasted the government, being in the government, the only political Muslim party which through elections took power, is not going to give up easily that position. Now it's moving into a constituency which is delegitimized and which is underground. Already we see that on a daily basis the military is taking casualties, that the Muslim Brotherhood are attacking them in the Sinai on a daily basis, 2 soldiers, 3 soldiers, and that's not going to be accepted by the military, and that's why the confrontation just looks like it's going to get worse before maybe, hopefully, it gets better.
Well, we certainly hope so. Dr. Gabay, thank you so much for coming in and enlightening on this. As I say, very much out of the American experience watching this on television. Thank you. And we're going to take a break. We're going to take a closer look at Egypt as we go to break. Stay with us.